I will light the candle as we usually do. I do love the song that we usually sing when we leave the church, which is go now in peace, go now in peace. Let the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. And I know we're not actually leaving our houses that much, but I don't know about you guys as a family, but I tend to go a lot of places in my mind. It's still quite active, even though I'm sitting quite still a lot of the time, either reading or playing or watching a film. So maybe take the words "go now in peace" and send them to yourself and to others around you in your family. Even if we're not actively going anywhere as such, we are still moving through time together, and a very special, challenging but special time that it is. So I've put our chalice out on the table, and I'm just going to to light it now. I've put 4 tea lights, I guess one for each of our family, and I put it somewhere safe so that I know that it won't catch hold of any bits of paper and on a surface where it won't burn through. I mean, I think this plastic's okay, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. So if you do put your candle, your chalice flame on anything, and I've written out the words, which we all decided our poster in the hall needed a bit of help. I might make an even bigger one for when we're back in the hall. Is it going to be the wrong way round on the video? I'm not sure how that works. Anyway, we light this chalice to celebrate our Unitarian Children's Chapel. We are the chapel of the open mind, the loving hearts, and the helping hands. And we usually say that, and then we have our joy and concern pebbles. And I didn't have a lot to go on. I'm not sure what you've got in your house. This is actually a rock that was passed on to me by a lady called Jo, and she had a friend called Jane. And when Jane passed away, they looked through her collection of things very carefully, and they discovered her beautiful rock collection. And she used to go and walk the beaches in Norfolk. She used to love art and nature. And all the rocks got put outside her house, and this was one of them. It's quite an unusual shape. I can see why she's chosen it. It's very nice when you hold it. It feels nice and cool. So maybe, as well as making your chalice, you could think about what you have in your house that you like from nature. It doesn't have to even be a pebble or a rock or a stone. It can be maybe a dried flower, a shell, an acorn, or something you kept from the last season perhaps. So we usually pick it out, and my concern is for the people who are a bit frail and elderly who live near me, who might not be able to get out to the shops at the minute. So we've set up a network of people, of volunteers to help. And that really, my concern overrides with my joy. My joy is that people are really making the best of this time and helping each other. So even when I look out into the garden, they're respecting each other, sharing the space really well, and keeping a distance from each other, knowing that this is the best way to keep everyone well at the minute. So that's my muddled joy and concern. I really liked Isla's one was it 2 weeks ago now? And she said her joy is to have a long hallway so she can run up and down it. And I hope you're making good use of your hall, Isla. So there we are. So yeah, I'll pop that down. It's very, very nice. My joy and concern there. And now I'm going to read a story, and I'll put it... Oh, one last thing. I did look up Make Your Own Alice the Chalice. I don't know if you can see it there. You can see all the different parts of the chalice divided up into different shapes, and you can colour it. If you just type in Alice the Chalice with the help of your parent or carer, and just type cuts, templates, or cutout, you get this to download. Hopefully if you have a computer and printer at home. If not, you could just draw out the shapes perhaps, you don't need to print them, and then you can colour in the flame and the chalice your own colour, and it means you don't have anything lit, but you can put the flame in last, and just like you're lighting it at home. And it's a really sweet website. I've only just discovered it, but Alice the Chalice has lots of has a different site full of resources, so you might want to have a look at that as well. So here we are, and the theme for April is liberation. Jill in the congregation asked me, how do we come up with the different themes and topics for the services and for Children's Chapel? One of the ways is this beautiful resource pack put together by Soul Matters. And quite ironically, I suppose, the theme for April is liberation, and the pack puts together different ideas about the different religious holidays that we have coming up. So the first one being Passover, that Jewish people celebrate, also Easter, so Good Friday, Easter Sunday, and the Monday, Easter Monday, and also Ramadan at the end of April, which is all to do with fasting and religion through fasting. So I put together or printed out a story about Passover, which is all about how the Jewish people became liberated, and there's lovely illustrations in there as well. There's some cute little illustrations, so I'll try to hold those up to the camera. So this is the story of Passover. The first Passover happened a long, long time ago in a faraway country, far away from here, called Egypt. And here is my printout of the world. And Egypt is at the top of Africa, where it meets Europe, so somewhere around here. I think there might be some pyramids there. Hopefully you can see next to the giraffe. So that's where Egypt is. A mean and powerful king, who was the Pharaoh, ruled Egypt. He was worried that the Jewish people would one day fight against him. So Pharaoh decided that these people must become his slaves. As slaves, the Jewish people worked very hard. Every day, from morning until night, they hammered, they dug, and they carried heavy bricks. They built palaces and cities and worked without any rest at all. The Jewish people hated being slaves. They cried and cried, and they asked God for help. So God chose a man named Moses to lead the Jewish people. Here's a little picture, illustration of him. Now Moses went to the Pharaoh and said, God is not happy with the way you treat the Jewish people. He wants you to let the Jewish people leave Egypt and go into the desert where they will be free. But Pharaoh stamped his foot and shouted, No, I will never let the Jewish people go. And Moses, he was really shocked, and he warned the Pharaoh. He said, if you do not listen to God, many terrible things are going to happen, called plagues. They will come to your land. But Pharaoh would not listen, and so the plagues arrived. First, the water turned to blood in the rivers and the seas, and next, frogs and little wild animals ran in and out of people's homes. Balls of hail bit like we've had this week. Lots of big bits of frozen rain or very wet snow came from the sky, and certain little bugs called locusts, they're a bit like grasshoppers, they ate all of the Egyptians' food. They put a little picture of a frog there. Imagine that, just everything going crazy, frogs everywhere, no water to drink, animals coming in and out of your home, eating other foods. This wasn't what the Pharaoh expected at all. And each time a new plague began, the Pharaoh would cry, "Moses, I'll let the Jewish people go, but just stop this horrible plague, please." Yet no sooner would God take away the plague than Pharaoh would shout, "Now the plague is gone. No, I've changed my mind. The Jews must stay." So God sent more and more plagues. And finally, as the 10th plague arrived, Pharaoh ordered the Jews to leave Egypt. He decided, right, I can't take any more. I'm going to do what Moses said. I'm going to order them to leave. Fearful that Pharaoh might change his mind again, the Jewish people packed quickly. They had no time to prepare food and no time to allow their dough to rise into puffy bread. They only had enough time to make a flat cracker-like bread called matzah. They hastily tied the matzah onto their backs and ran from their homes. The people had not travelled far before Pharaoh commanded his army to chase after them and bring them back to Egypt. The Jews dashed forward, but stopped when they reached a large sea. The sea was too big for them to swim across. Frightened that Pharaoh's men would soon reach them, the people prayed to God once again, and a miracle occurred. The sea opened up. 2 walls of water stood in front of them, and a dry, sandy path stretched between the walls down the middle. The Jews ran across, and just as they reached the other side, the walls of water fell and the path disappeared. The sea now separated the Jews from the land of Egypt, and they were free. Each year at Passover, people can celebrate by eating special foods. They sing stories and they sing songs and they tell stories and participate in a seder, which is a special meal designed to help us remember the miracle journey from slavery to freedom. That is an amazing story. Just imagine that. Going through that, becoming free again. And they just quickly took their bread that they hadn't even managed to let rise in their ovens. They knew they had to be free. Once Pharaoh had decided that he's going to do anything just to get the plagues to go. In fact, he probably wished that he'd listened sooner. But thank goodness for that. So there is some light there. They struggled, but they got their help and they were free. It's a very, very beautiful, beautiful story of freedom. And I thought, actually, I don't have any matzo flour, which is the special flour that Jewish people use to make a matzo ball. But I've got a little recipe for some very simple dough. And I thought we could make that and then shape it into little faces or any shape you like. You could put it in the oven and it doesn't take long. Just like the Jewish people made a quick bread while they could and tied it to their backs. We can make a little simple dough recipe. And if you go to the supermarkets, or if your parents or carers go to the supermarkets, you can see there's a special box sometimes at the end of the aisle in a special food section, and it's all to do with the kosher food, the food that Jewish people eat. And there's a matzo. If you look for matzo, it's a very thin cracker, specially made from matzo flour. Hi. So we've had our story about Passover, and oh, hello! Oh, it's the frogs. Now we've known the frogs a long time in this house. I didn't expect to see you guys. Oh, you're going to say hi? That's how they say hi, apparently. What's that? You think we should make some dough bread? Yeah? Do you like dough bread? Oh, we do. Who knew? We were just talking about frogs. We were just talking about Egypt and frogs. You've never been to Egypt. You'd like to go one day. Well, maybe you will. Where's Egypt? Ah, you guys know. It's at the top of Africa, next to Israel. Yeah? Is it very cold there? No. What? You heard us talking about snow? Ah, that's because the plague sent some snow. You think that looks a bit like some snow, perhaps? Yes? Ah, Five Alive. I haven't seen you for a long time. I'm really glad you're here. You can help me make these. So what do we need? We need some flour. So the recipe says 2 cups of flour. So you could choose the size of your cup. So we've got like a little Hungry Caterpillar mug or a cup. So yeah, I measured out the ingredients. Oh, now don't get too messy, okay? And so there's some flour and there's some yogurt. It says 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of yogurt, and it says 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 tablespoon, got the good stuff here, of olive oil, but you can use anything. But just I'd use a vegetable oil, but they said olive oil, so there you go. And a little pinch of salt if you like salt. You don't like salt, dries you out, yeah. So, yeah. And so, yeah, we put this in. Do you want to help? Want to help? Good to help. Okay, go on then, frogs. You help. Oh, that's it. Oh, you're good at that. Well done. Okay. Really good. What else does it say? It said the yogurt. Shall I pour it in? You want to get messy? Yogurt. Ooh. So pour some yogurt in. That's it. I'm going to come and help you get a spoon. I forgot to put a spoon out. So let's see, where's my spoons? I've got a big spoon here. Do you want one as well? There you go, you can have your own. You've got to hold it all together. That's it. That's it. If you want to get in there, that's it. That's it. Stir it all together. Now, I've never done this with yogurt before, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. Hopefully it's going to make a nice dough. There you go. You get in there, frogs. There we go. Okay. That's it. I'll help you with your spoon. You want to put your spoon down. Okay, put your spoon down. You can hold the bowl though. There you go. That's it. Mix it all together. It's kind of coming together. Hopefully you have these ingredients at home. You could just use plain flour. I don't think you don't even need self-raising flour. There we go. Oh, thank you for holding the bowl so nicely. It's very helpful. 10 plagues. I know, 10. 10. Crazy, hey? Okay. Now I might have to use my hands. Okay. What's that, frogs? What's that? You're going to go and see what Jensen's doing? Okay, go on then. I'll finish. Oh, yeah. What's that? You want to eat some when it's ready? Yes, you can eat some when it's ready, silly. Go and see Jensen then. I'm going to go and see Jensen. Okay. There you go. Off you go. Don't know. Got somewhere. So let's see. Okay. Right. Let's get rolling. Oh, and I'll put a little teaspoon. Let me get a teaspoon and a tablespoon. Teaspoon here. Make it kind of level. There we go. And a tablespoon. I don't know if we have a correct tablespoon. we have like a dessert kind of spoon, but a tablespoon's a bit bigger, so I'm gonna put one and then a tiny bit more because it's a bit bigger than that really. I think I have flour on my face. Right, okay. Are you with me here? So you put your flour, your yogurt, your baking soda. Oh, it's getting lovely and runny. And just, you can put your hand in, you don't need your spoon. And just make a really simple dough. Hey, it's coming together okay. I just used plain yogurt. And I just needed 2 of those small pots. That's all you need really. Tip it out onto a nice clean table. We tend to decorate our table here, if you're wondering. And there we go. Oh, I do find this relaxing and it's really nice, even though we're not used to having all this time at home, to have time to do these things. So, the recipe that I looked at said this was the simplest dough method, and then you can make any shape you like. They'd made some little faces with some hair, or you could make anything. You can make a little frog if you're feeling adventurous. You can make a dough chalice, or a flower, anything you like. In fact, I've been watching the birds from the window, and I've been watching some magpies make a nest together, and they keep dropping the twig and bringing it back and dropping the twig, so you can make a kind of twiggy breadstick if you like. And if you just pull some off, you'll have a kind of doughy mix. Or you could just make a ball by rolling it, whatever you feel. There. You want to make them roughly the same size, whatever you do make, or the same thickness. So when you put them in the oven, I think it should be about gas mark 4 or 5 for about 10 to 12 minutes. But if you take them out and they don't look done yet, just put them back with your parent or carer for about, I don't know, just keep checking on them for every 3 or 4 minutes until you're happy. But there's nothing in here that will do you any harm if it's slightly undercooked, but I think you want a nice brown colour, a toasted colour. So you can make little flatbreads like that, and then get a little tray. Where did I put my little tray? Let's see. Here. You can put a little tray there. So choose your cup, make 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of yogurt, a little teaspoon of baking soda, and I might make some funny faces as well, or I'll make 4 little round things, and the olive oil as well, just a tablespoon. I didn't put salt in mine. I mean, you can put salt, it just gives it a little lift, doesn't it? A little bit of flavour. But you don't have to. You can make them really, really plain. Or you could add some herbs, like some rosemary if you have anything growing on your windowsill, in a window box. In fact, it's a bit wet in the middle, so I'm just scraping up the last bits of flour after they're getting really messy. But that's good, right? So I've done, how many have I done? I've done the 3. This is number 4. And I might make one with a face now. Yeah. There we go. Hopefully it's going to taste nice. I also love it with butter. You can mix some butter and garlic together with somebody and with some help. And then you can make like a little dip, like a little dip, or tomato one. That would be nice. You could even make some little mini pizzas. Like if you just got them like that, you could just make some mini pizzas. Hey, I'll make one with a silly face because I like that on the website that I looked at. So you could even make an angry pharaoh face and a kind Moses face. Something like that. Oh, I think the eye I've made is too big. Let's see. I'm going to make a smiley face because I think that's nice. Yeah, there we go. Let's try some hair and a smile. Making a little sausage, rolling it out like that, flat on the table. Oh, it's a bit short, the hair. Maybe I should make that the smile. Hey! There we go. I've got some hair here. Roll it up. Oh, it's gone quite squishy. I think the yogurt does really give it some bounce. It's almost like soda bread recipe. Here we go. She's funny. She's got lots of hair there. But I think when they bake, it should bake together. How does that look? That's pretty funny, isn't it? That's very daft. In fact, you can't really see her mouth because her smile because her mouth is so big. Huh? Right. Anyway, that should be okay. I think 15 minutes for those on gas mark 5. Let's see. And you can post me a picture if you like to, or write some words or a letter to me, and I'll put them on next week's video. So I made a note of the email address because it's not my personal one. There is one for, oh my gosh, I've got flowery hands, for Children's Chapel. And it is, so if you want to write to me, it's Children's Chapel, all one word, at roslinhillchapel.org.uk. Maybe if Kate's really good at editing, she can put that up. So Children's Chapel with an S, so a bit bugged up, Children's Chapel at roslinhill.org.uk. And if you write to me there, send any pictures you want or anything you want to share with your friends. We can put that on the video, and then hopefully if you're still watching, which I hope you are next week, you can see what people like. Maybe if Jackson, I really miss you, if you want to write in, or just even update us about any joys and concerns, any football results, although the football's probably not happening, so I should mention that. And if Isla, if you want to write how Toby's doing, update us on that, or your ballet that you're doing. Hopefully you're doing lots of ballet. Just write in, and I can put them on the video if you're happy for me to share them with your friends, and that'd be a really, really nice way to connect. Okay, so I'm going to put these in the oven, and I'll send you a photo. See how they go. Okay. So I've got my oven gloves. I'm just going to go and get them from the oven. The smile came out a little bit strange, but it did work. Hey, and I cut one open, and I put them at gas mark 6 for about 15 minutes in the end. But I did have quite a small one that was done quite quickly, and then the bigger ones might need longer. So try to make them roughly the same size. And I forgot to say that I accidentally said, baby Toby, and I keep saying that, Isla. I'm so silly. It's because my husband's brother is called Toby. But we call him Tobias too sometimes. But his name is Toby, but we sometimes call him Tobias. But I know your little brother is called Tobias. So please remind me if I keep getting that wrong. Silly. And also, I meant to say a big hello to Isaac. And I'll just take you round my house just a little bit. I just wanted to show him they're digging up some of the road to put broadband. And there's some big diggers across the road. There you go. I don't know, can you see them there? So I thought of you. They're digging up the street and they're putting broadband in, and we have to stay home, and it's really, really quite noisy. I don't know if you can see them up the street there. You can see some people walking around with masks on, can't you? But they're yeah. So I did think of you, Isaac, a lot when I saw those, and Jensen's been watching them too. So yeah, keep safe and keep well, and I hope you had fun this week. And if there's anything you think we could do, let me know. And I also wrote out the words that we usually say when we leave. And it says, as we leave this friendly place, love give light to every face. May the kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return. And then we blow out the candles, don't we? So you might want to pretend you're going to blow them out with me. Okay. 3, 2, 1. If you've got a candle lit, you can blow it out safely together. And in fact, I forgot, these are scented tea lights. And even through my stuffy nose, I can smell some blackcurrant. So I hope you've got something similar in your house. See you next week.